Hello and welcome to the Neurodivergent Collective, or the NDCO. I'm Kristy Forbes. I am an autism and neurodiversity support specialist, and I'm an autistic person with ADHD and PDA. I have sat with thousands of families in private practice, supporting them to understand their neurodivergent children and often their neurodivergent selves, and to know how to thrive in a world that sometimes feels difficult to navigate for us. So, what is neurodivergence? It is a populational community of people such as myself who identify as autistic, ADHD, dyslexic, PDA, and if you're unfamiliar with any of those letters, then be sure to stick around and join us in the collective, because you are going to learn so much more about them than you've ever read about. The NDCO came about because there are thousands and thousands of adults like me who gather in private spaces and in public spaces in advocacy and activism to share our lived experience. Some of us go into professional spaces and work in psychology, speech and language pathology, occupational therapy, education, and we learn so much about what families need in order to understand their children. But we also recognise that so much of what has been written in textbooks for the last 70 to 80 years has been consistently lacking in the whys. So when we read about autism or ADHD, we often read about the most predominant behaviours a person displays. And what we want you to know first and foremost is that behaviour is communication, and it is neurodivergent expression. So the NDCO is here because we are a collective of people who identify and who are diagnosed as neurodivergent in many different ways. Some of us are parents. I myself am a parent of 4 autistic children. And I know that my initiation and many family initiations post-diagnosis for themselves or their children is that they are bombarded by so many choices to have to make about therapies, schools, approaches, tools, supports. And we want to make that easier for you by sharing our own experience of being neurodivergent. The true experts are the people with lived experience, because we know what it feels like. We have the whys. And again, we know that the whys are lacking from the research. So we're so glad that you are here to join us to access our bite-sized pieces of information in video format or written format. You're welcome to ask us absolutely anything you'd like to ask or have ever wanted to ask neurodivergent people. And we will be sharing tips, telling stories, and engaging with some of the research that is currently on offer. We really, really want you to feel welcome and safe to ask us whatever you need to, and we're so honoured that you're here to join us.